It's been a while. Excuse me. I just want to say thank you for my new subscribers and the support. I'm at 1.k something. So that's a blessing. I'm trying to see if I could start making a profit from YouTube because my goal is to work from home. I have a book that's out called Do Not Settle for a Mistress. Ne- Never Settle for a Mistress. I will show you the book so that you can support my book. It's sold on Amazon and Barnes and Nobles, but I've heard that Barnes and Nobles is quicker with the ship because how my publishing company operates is they only print out the books on demand. I've been blessed, I've been busy, but yes. Also, I am going through some personal trials. If it's not one thing, it's another, but I'm getting over that. But I wanted to say that in my 20s, when somebody did something, I'd be so quick to approach them or be nasty. But I noticed that moving in silence and not saying anything works wonders. For example, there are people that I stop contacting first or kind of distance myself from, and within 6 months, maybe a year, but sometimes 6 months, they'll find their way back in my life. They'll reach out, and I'm just looking at that text message and them and like, okay, how may I help you? Like people that I used to chase and force a relationship, I don't have to do that. I just be looking and I'll be like, okay. Like for example, I got about three of them. One of them was someone I had feelings for, a guy, but we were doing casual hookups. So I see him at his parents' house. He says, well, my first mistake is I should never had hugged him, but I was like, let me be cordial. His girl, he got him a girlfriend. She hugged me. Then a few minutes later, he asks me how I been. I had my back turned to him and I said, great. I didn't even look his way. I didn't even tell him I kept it at great and whatnot. I didn't tell him I had a book coming out. I didn't go into details. I didn't even ask how he's doing. He quickly got the hint because he didn't ask no more further questions. Then there's another female. We were friends at one point. I don't consider her a friend. She's an associate because she would only reach out to me when she needed something. So I had to block her and distance myself. She reaches out to me. One of our daughters are close in age. She's like, I'm having a party for my youngest. I would like for your girls to come out. Because I deleted the contact, I didn't even know who this was. But then when you scroll through the message, you were like, ah, that's you. Instead of being bitter, I was like, well, first I wanted to find out because she's doing the party at the Poconos. So I wanted to find out how much was it before I'd be like, yes. She was like, I didn't have to pay. I said, okay. So in October, I'm gonna send my two daughters there for them to enjoy themselves because I can't make my way to the Poconos. She drive. I told her, look, I'm not going. So if you need me to pay you, I'll do that. She said she was appreciative that the girls are coming and left it at that. And then my last example is there have been a few people that are like, hey, how you doing? After ghosting them when they were acting funny, now they're coming and sharing snacks and food. And mind you, they're just doing the bare minimum because I would go out of my way and start spending money on these people. And all you could do is now share snacks, and now you want to hold a conversation with me? No. But I noticed that me not arguing we not having any bad blood or animosity towards each other works wonders. Because let me tell you something. If I see you after 6 months to a year, I'm gonna say hi. I'm gonna talk to you, but I keep it short and simple and move on. Now, some of them have asked, is there anything they done or they can make it right? I usually don't respond, or I just be like, we just don't mesh well. Some get there, respect my decision, and then you have some that just find their way to force themselves into my life, and I'm like, no. The thing about, once you hit your 30s, and this is not everybody in their 30s, but I know for me, my patience is shorter. Before, I was very patient. Now, I'm not patient with adults. I am not patient with adults. Because let me tell you something. Unless you were born with an intellectual disability, there's just certain stuff you should not be doing, and I just don't condone. And my thing is, although I try my best to give people grace, I noticed that mentally I would be drained. And people have to understand that even God or whoever you believe in don't even have that much grace for your patience. Because let me tell you something, when you're not taking heed to that word of God, there's consequences. So if our God that's supposed to be nice, humble, and forgiving will show his wrath, what makes you think a human is not going to get tired of people's mess? Like, I just, my patience is, because my thing is, there's too many people on this planet for me to be trying to make it work or trying to force a friendship. Why? When I could be mingling or being by myself. When I tell you that I'm at peace being home, not having to go out with fakes, it works wonders. Being able to save my money is wonder. Now I'm not gonna lie. It gets boring, and sometimes you wish you had somebody to talk to or sit across from, but I prefer my peace. But then I snap back in reality and I'm like, you know what? Let me enjoy this restaurant by myself. Let me enjoy not being on the phone, not having to listen to people vent. Because let me tell you something, I don't mind listening to you vent, but my thing is, once I listen to you vent, the second time you come to me, there should be some sort of solution. For example, I don't want to hear about anybody's relationship problems. Number two, I'm not in a relationship. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it's like to have a successful relationship. Don't ask me for no advice. I don't want to hear you venting. I'm not the go-to person. I can pray for you though, but I'm not the go-to person. Now, what I will listen to you, how you can start a business, because I'm an author now and a YouTuber, so I have an idea of how to create a business, how to build confidence. I'm a good cheerleader, good support system, so I could do that. But as far as people asking me, about you trying to figure out if this, what you need to do about this negative person in your life, no, because my thing is, I know that everybody's not like me. So number one, if I'm not being cherished or if I'm being disrespected, one or two things. I'm going to ignore you and tell you to move yourself from the situation. But some people, they like to suffer. So what's going to happen is, if I see that you like to suffer, I'm going to move myself from you and not want to talk to you. Because my thing is, clearly you don't want help. You want somebody to enable your behavior, and we're not doing that. Like I've heard stories about people being owed money, them dealing with people because they're family and whatnot. And I'm looking at myself like, so you would take disrespect? But so now what do you want me to do for you? Because there's nothing I can do, because usually when people give advice, they give advice from their point of view. That's why I tell people to weigh their pros and cons. Because now if anything goes left, you can't blame me. Because I'm going to tell you, I told you to weigh your pros and cons. So I asked you what was the pros and what was the cons. Whichever one is longer, that's the one you may need to evaluate. But other than that, I don't. And this is why I don't like to give relationship advice, and I don't like people venting to me about their relationship, because again, there are coaches, there are therapists for that. They get paid for that. I don't. Now, I can advise you on what not to do in a relationship. For example, a young person, adolescent, come to me and they don't have no children yet. I can be like, hey, please be mindful of who you have unprotected sex with, because I'm a single mom. So I can guide you there because I know what it's like having children out of wedlock. I can also give you an advice on how not to be a mistress or a side Negro, because again, I was a mistress. Anything else? I can't give you any advice on leaving a toxic relationship or a situationship, because for me, them relationships don't work for me, and I'd be ready to bounce. As a matter of fact, when I was in those relationships, I was doing me. So, so you're asking the wrong person for advice. But again, I'm at the point in my life, if our ideas don't align, and even if we're different, listen, I need you to respect my ideas and I respect your ideas. But what we're not going to do is take advantage or use me. I don't do friends with benefits. I don't do the coming back, spinning the block. I don't do that. And if you're that type of person, we won't be friends, because my thing is birds of a feather flock together, and there's just certain flocks I don't deal with. That's why I only have 2 friends and about 10 associates. So I say that to say this. Know your worth. You have a goal. Work on your goal. Relationships could come faster, because I promise you, men are not going nowhere. Females are not going nowhere. Now, the men or women that you probably want probably will leave you, but you'll find somebody else. They're not going anywhere. But let me tell you, goals, dreams, and aspirations, you have a time limit, because guess what? Your health can decline. You could end up running out of money. Like, a whole bunch of things could happen. So it's best for you to work on your goals now. Don't let no friends, toxic partner hinder you, because I've heard of situations of that. People have lost a lot of opportunity because they're chasing people they have no business chasing. So I chase money and opportunities, not friends and men. So again, thank you for listening. So I wanted to drop some gems because it was on my heart. And even those that I've given advice to, if you're my subscribers and you listening, I just hope you don't take offense, because if it applies, utilize it. If it don't, let it fly. But yeah, we have to do better.